That's awesome. Now, your first UFC event, like we talked about, UFC 8, I mean, it was a lot different. You know, it was completely different. I mean, the sport has evolved immensely. And you fought, I believe it was the one with Paul Herrera, right? Was that the
Number
one?
8, UFC 8, yeah.
That was the famous, the elbow.
Yes.
The crucifix and the elbow. I mean, if no one's ever seen that, I mean, if there's any of the highlights of back in the day of the early UFCs, I mean, yours is usually the top one. You have that one. You have, I think it was, what's his name that kicked Mark Coleman, the head kick. You have your knockout. I mean, again, that was some vicious stuff, man. That was very vicious.
Yeah, it kind of like opened the door for me a lot, those things.
That did. Now, your preparation when you got the call to UFC and stuff, can you go through maybe a little bit more, explain maybe what was the payment, or was there any contracts when you got there? Like, was there a fight contract, or was just, hey, you're fighting that night? Because I know there was a couple times back in the day where you would fight multiple times, correct? I think that was one of the nights.
Yeah. Well, the fights were all the UFC fights. When I went in, it was 8 guys, and then you had a champion at the end. Mm-hmm. So you fight the first guy, you had to beat him, and you had to beat the second one in order to go to the final match. So it was just a round robin. It was just, you had to beat your first guy, and it was easier to the first guy because you know what he was doing. You knew, okay, this guy's a wrestler, this guy's a this, so it was easier. But you didn't know who was your second match, and you didn't know who was your third match. So it was harder. So it's harder to prepare for it, but it was just throw it in there. Throw anybody at me, I'll kick their ass, because it was too new. This shit was too new. We didn't understand the way how people understand now. Arm bars. What the hell is this hoist doing? And nobody knew what that was. You know. So I tried it. I couldn't do it. I tried it again, but because nobody knew how to teach it, nobody knew how to do it.
Yep.
You see it on TV and you try to replicate it, but with yourself, but you can never do it.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. They didn't have the classes. They didn't have the gyms and stuff like that to teach that back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, again, like we talked about, your first opponent, what was your game plan? It's kind of just like wing it. Again, like you said, you can't really game plan against. It's almost like a blind date almost. You just fucking go in.
It's 100%. That's good. I never heard it said that. I never heard that metaphor. But yes, it's like a blind date, completely blind date. You don't know anything. Well, I knew that I was facing Paul Herrera. Mm-hmm. That's all I knew. And I heard he was one of Tank's guys, and he was racist. That's what I was told. Mm-hmm. He's racist, and he's one of Tank's guys. And this was given to me to hype me up. So I was, oh, man. There's no racist guy gonna beat me. I can't let him beat me. Mm-hmm. I don't care who beats me, but that racist guy is not beating me. So it got me pumped up for the match. And it wasn't till the night before that I knew how I was gonna fight that fight. I knew that it was gonna come down to those elbows, because before, when back in the early days, what they do is they took pictures of everybody, a little skip. Hi, I'm Gary Goodridge. I'm gonna kill you. You know, people just said shit like that. And this guy, he said it. Paul Harris said it, and he went through a fireman's carry. And one person saw him in my group, just kept on shooting, doing like fireman's carry, and over and over and over and over again. He said, Gary, we know what he's gonna do. He's gonna do this fireman carry. So we stayed up all night trying to figure out how to beat that fireman's carry, so that he can't put me down on the ground.
Crucifix.
So then we came up with that. Okay, he's gonna shoot you and do this and do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I stayed up all night learning how to do that move that I did. All night I stayed up learning and try to perfect it down. So by the time I fought Paul, by the time I fought him, I've already done it 50, 60 times in a row the night before. Mm-hmm. So I was waiting. Had he come out and did anything else, I would have been screwed. So he came in there and punched me in the face or whatever, I would have been screwed. He went
straight shot at you.
He went 100% the exact same way. The exact same thing happened that I just practiced 100 times before. the exact same thing. So I caught him, and before it was holding him down and bending his wrist down and make him tap. And for some reason, it got switched in my head. Elbow went from wrist down to elbow the shit out of his head. Yeah.
And you didn't stop till the ref. Did you know he was out by this? I think it was the second elbow. He was limp.
No, I didn't know. I couldn't see. I couldn't feel. I just rifle, just ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. Yeah. Just continue.
Again, if you think about it, that was the perfect game plan, correct? Right? It worked to a T, man. 100%.
100%.
That's all. That's always something I always wanted to ask you. Was about that fight.